Here's what happened when Jim Kelly challenged Chuck Norris for a fight. The idea alone sent shock waves through Hollywood's martial arts circles. It was the late 1970s. The city buzzed with rumors. Jim Kelly, fresh off Enter the Dragon, carried the swagger of a man with nothing to lose. Chuck Norris was a karate champion turned rising film star, and the man everyone measured themselves against. A bold promoter arranged a secret exhibition in a private gym. There were no official cameras and no on-duty reporters, just fists, kicks, and pride. But neither man realized that one night in a private gym would ripple through martial arts history in ways they couldn't imagine. The gym chosen for the match was nothing glamorous. It stood on the fringes of Los Angeles, tucked behind a row of warehouses where few would think to look. Inside, the floor carried fighting history. Its surface was scarred from years of sparring and fighting. It was here that a promoter promised the kind of showdown no Hollywood script could ever match. And it happened when Jim Kelly challenged Chuck Norris for a fight. Kelly arrived first. He wore a black tracksuit with gold trim. His afro glowed under the lamps. His posture was confident as always, and his eyes were alive with predatory anticipation. Every movement was a reminder of his presence on screen. Kelly looked cool, unshakable, and explosive when the moment called. The few who had gathered whispered his name with excitement. Then the room shifted. Chuck Norris walked in. His entrance carried no drama, and his walk had no wasted motion. Chuck was dressed in plain white GI pants and a loose top. As always, he radiated calm authority. He had the composure of a man who had fought and won countless tournaments. His gaze swept the room, landing on Kelly with a look that was both respectful and challenging. No referee stood between them, and no contract bound them. This was an exhibition in name only, but everyone knew reputations were at stake. The air thickened with tension. Every spectator licked their lips while waiting to see which legend would strike first. Meanwhile, both Norris and Kelly believed this would remain a private test of skill. But the night was already setting itself up for a turn neither man could predict. The silence was shattered with the slap of bare feet on the mat. Jim Kelly circled first. His body was loose and his shoulders swayed like a dancer waiting to catch the rhythm. Chuck Norris kept his stance tight. He was economical, and every one of his movements was precise. The crowd hushed. They knew there were no Hollywood stuntmen and no retakes in this bout. Kelly struck first. A snapping front kick lashed out and tested Norris's guard. Norris blocked with a fluid movement, pivoted and sent back a low sidekick that thudded into Kelly's thigh. The sound echoed like a drum beat. Gasps rippled through the gym. Kelly smiled. He seemed unfazed and launched a spinning heel kick that skimmed past Norris's head by inches. The crowd roared at the audacity. Norris was unflinching. He stepped inside and delivered a sharp reverse punch to Kelly's chest. It forced him backward. The clash had barely begun, yet each exchange showed the truth. These men weren't playing, not by a long shot. The rhythm escalated. Kelly's lightning-fast kicks came in unpredictable angles. There were crescents, roundhouses, and sidekicks. Each was designed to confuse. Norris absorbed the storm. He parried, countered, and waited for his moment. Sweat glistened on their foreheads, and their muscles were taut under the hot lamps. A sudden exchange brought the first gasp of danger. Kelly feinted high, then swept low. It knocked Norris briefly off balance. The audience jumped to their feet as Norris stumbled back, but he recovered instantly, planted his foot like a rooted tree, and fired his legendary sidekick. The strike landed solidly against Kelly's ribs with a sharp and punishing crack. Kelly staggered, caught himself, and grinned through the pain. Back and forth they moved. Neither man yielded, and each probed the other for weakness. The dojo floor became a battlefield. Every strike felt heavier, and every block was more desperate. The crowd could sense it. This wasn't just a friendly exhibition. It was a war for respect. And each fighter was determined to get the upper hand. The audience thought they had seen the peak of intensity already. But Kelly had yet to reveal the surprise he had been saving. The crowd was unable to look away. Sweat dripped steadily from Jim Kelly's brow as he reset his stance. His chest rose and fell like a drum beat. Then he exploded forward with a flurry of spinning kicks. Each one sliced the air with blistering speed. Chuck Norris absorbed them and shifted his guard. He adjusted his distance, and his eyes never blinked. Here, the audience whispered, was what happened when Jim Kelly challenged Chuck Norris for a fight. It was pure skill measured against pure discipline. Kelly's unpredictability gave him the upper hand. A spinning back kick caught Norris across the midsection, and drove him back a step. Gasps filled the gym. Kelly pressed harder. He strung together combinations that mixed karate precision with the improvisational flair that made him a film star. His legs blurred and his fists darted like lightning. For a moment, Norris seemed trapped, forced to weather the storm. But then the tide turned. With the patience of a seasoned champion, Norris waited for Kelly to overcommit. It came when Kelly launched another high-spinning heel kick. His torso twisted wide open. Norris stepped in calm as a predator and fired his trademark sidekick. The impact echoed like a gunshot, slamming into Kelly's chest and nearly lifting him off his feet. Kelly crashed against the ropes and clutched his ribs. The room erupted in shouts. Some cried out for Kelly, others for Norris. The atmosphere was no longer respectful silence. It was charged, electric, and almost feral. Both men understood the shift. This had gone way beyond an exhibition. Pride was now fused into every strike, and neither man wanted to be remembered as the one who folded. Kelly steadied himself. Pain flashed across his face, yet his eyes burned brighter. He raised his guard and nodded once at Norris. The fight pressed on, fiercer than before. What began as a test of skill was fast becoming something far more dangerous. As the clash grew hotter, every strike grew sharper, and every breath louder. The crowd shouted encouragement. Their voices bounced off the gym walls as sweat pooled on the floor where bare feet were sliding and stomping. Both men were locked in a rhythm of attack and counterattack, and still no clear winner was emerging. It was here, in the chaos, that the first twist revealed itself. From the sidelines, the promoter stepped forward. His voice cut through the noise. "Keep going," he shouted. "There's money riding on this." The words froze the air. Whispers rippled through the small audience. Heavy betting. Neither Kelly nor Norris had agreed to that. What was supposed to be a private exhibition had been twisted into a spectacle for gamblers. Suddenly, this wasn't about reputation alone. It was about feeding greed. Jim Kelly's eyes narrowed. Fury flashed in his eyes. He had agreed to test himself, not to become a pawn. His kicks grew sharper, faster, and seemed to be fueled by anger at the manipulation. Norris kept his expression unreadable. He pressed forward with the precision of a champion, but inside he seethed at the betrayal. He was a competitor, not a circus act. Every blow now carried more weight. Kelly's fists hammered at Norris's guard, and Norris countered with surgical strikes that pushed Kelly toward the ropes again. The crowd roared as though the money on the line had turned them savage. The fight had been stolen from them. Yet neither man was willing to stop. Their pride demanded they finish what they had begun, even if it meant bleeding for an audience they no longer trusted. The air buzzed with the obvious danger. The contest had shifted from sport to something darker, a war tainted by outside hands. The audience believed they'd seen the fight's actual purpose laid bare. But the truth waiting just ahead would shake them even deeper. The match raged on. Every strike echoed louder than the last. Jim Kelly, breathing hard, spun for another high kick. His foot arced clean, but the landing betrayed him. His ankle twisted on the slick wooden floor, and he stumbled with a sharp cry. The crowd gasped again. The fight might end right there. Kelly clutched his leg and gritted his teeth. Norris stepped back and lowered his guard. The opening was perfect. One clean strike could have ended it, but instead Norris paused. He waited with steady eyes to give Kelly space to stand. The crowd booed. Some were crying out for him to finish it, but Norris refused. Kelly straightened slowly. Pain flashed across his face. He flexed the injured ankle and tested its strength. It wobbled but held. A nod of gratitude passed silently between them. It was a moment of mutual respect that cut deeper than any blow. But pride is heavier than pain. Kelly raised his guard again. He was determined not to let mercy define the fight. Norris braced himself, aware that compassion carried its own risks. The audience thought the injury would break the rhythm that Kelly would falter. But mercy, though noble, can also be dangerous, and it set the stage for an even greater revelation. Jim Kelly steadied himself. His ankle throbbed and lungs burned, but he had come too far to let pain write the ending. With a sudden burst, he lunged forward. His fists flew in a furious combination. Chuck Norris blocked, countered, and returned a crushing back fist that rattled Kelly's jaw. The crowd shouted in disbelief, and the gym came alive with the sound of bodies colliding. Kelly spun again. He was reckless now, and his legs whipped through the air. One kick clipped Norris's shoulder. The next grazed his cheek. The audience roared some more. This was raw grit against cold precision. Norris responded with a flurry of low kicks to test Kelly's injured ankle. Kelly staggered but refused to buckle. He threw a desperate roundhouse that Norris ducked, only to follow with a feint that disguised a powerful strike to Norris's ribs. Norris stumbled. The breath had been knocked from his lungs. The room erupted. Half the crowd was now certain Kelly had turned the tide, but legends rarely fall so easily. Norris straightened. His eyes remained calm despite the sting. He pivoted on his heel, and in one seamless motion delivered his signature spinning roundhouse kick. The strike landed flush against Kelly's temple and sent him sprawling across the floor. Silence swallowed the gym as Kelly lay motionless for a moment. Then he rolled to his side, pushed himself up slowly, and bowed. The crowd exhaled all at once. Applause crashed through the room. Norris bowed in return with sweat streaming and his chest heaving. The fight was over. No one had truly lost. Yet the audience, still buzzing, believed the story ended there with respect forged through combat. They were wrong. Something far greater lingered just beyond that bow. As the crowd dispersed, few noticed a man in the corner quietly packing away equipment. Hidden among the gear was a camera. Its reels had hummed throughout the entire match. The fighters hadn't known. The promoter hadn't admitted it. That secret footage captured every strike, every stumble, and every bow, and it would not remain buried. Over the years, whispers had spread of a tape that showed what happened when Jim Kelly challenged Chuck Norris for a fight. It had passed hand to hand among martial artists to become a myth, a lesson, a secret scripture of combat. Young fighters studied the grainy frames, choreographers borrowed its rhythms, and directors let its raw intensity shape the next generation of martial arts cinema. Neither Kelly nor Norris ever spoke of it, but the hidden reel lived on to flicker through history. In an underground way, it changed film and fighting alike. The fight between Jim Kelly and Chuck Norris was never listed on a record sheet, and it never featured in a headline. Yet, those who were there carried the memory like a secret flame. It wasn't about who won or lost. It was about two men, each at the height of their power, pushing one another to limits no camera was meant to see. Kelly showed creativity, resilience, and flair. Norris showed discipline, patience, and power. Together, they revealed the beauty and brutality of martial arts stripped of spectacle. So, when people ask what happened when Jim Kelly challenged Chuck Norris for a fight, the answer is simple. It was more than a contest. It was two legends shaping each other, leaving behind a shadow of respect that still echoes through every roundhouse and every daring kick on screen today. If you could witness one legendary fight in martial arts history, which would you choose? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. We'd love to hear them. Since you made it this far, you probably enjoyed the video. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and means a lot. See you in the next one.